We're in. It's all actions and all results. It's the business accountability group where we push each other to try to take the next step in our business plans. As usual, we begin our 60 minutes of success with our elevator statement stating who we are and what we do. Rudy, you're up.
I'm Rudy Martinez. I own Rudy's Health and Fitness in Long Beach, California. I specialize in rehabilitative fitness, functional fitness, and I also am developing a program to train other trainers in proper etiquette, proper rapport, proper bedside manner in regards to relating to their clients.
Wonderful. My name is G. I am the founder and director of Native Speakers Academy. We are a holistic private language school based in Banska Bystrica in central Slovakia. Essentially, we do two things. We teach the English language and we offer life coaching. And that's what the school does. Moving on, we take a look at any aha moments, any realizations that we've had, anything that's happened around about us that has made us stop and think about our work and our world. I don't know if Rudy's got any experiences that he's had in the last week that he would like to share.
I shared this on one of the chats. Uh, the guy that I'm studying right now, Vishen,
Hmm.
is like I said, it's a parallel with Eric Thomas's "You Matter" to a point. It's like uh, you're enough. He actually sat down with a Buddhist monk at some retreat, and the Buddhist monk had been studying his behavior over the course of the week, and he was assigned to kind of break down some things for Vishen, and he said, "You have low self-esteem." And Vishen's like, "What are you talking about?" Because by then he had already become a multimillionaire.
Hmm.
And he's like, "Well, you tend to get defensive when people challenge some of your ideas or projects you want to develop. You're not comfortable with other people's judgment of what you're doing. It's like you have a low self-esteem." And he never looked at it that way. He just would get offended, and he's like, you need to feel like your decision to do something is enough. That it doesn't matter what other people say. You can take it for what it is, whether it's positive or negative, but there's no reason for you to get defensive. That your idea for what you want to do in your life, well, you're good enough. You don't need to feel defensive. Like, just do what it is that you want to do. Um, and he also related this to, he always considered himself a teacher because he would, I mean, he manufactures personal growth products, so he considered himself a teacher. And he said he recalled that his favorite teacher growing up was this man who had basically been a great teacher. All the students loved him, but his wife ended up leaving him. He had to move into this little one-room apartment and basically live a meager lifestyle because of his breakup of his marriage. But he loved teaching, and he continued to teach, and the kids continued to love him. Uh, and Vishen realized because he feels like he's a teacher, he's related that as far as his sense of money. Like that he wasn't paying himself a lot, even though his company was making a lot of money. And he related the "you're good enough" to that as well. Like, you're good enough, you deserve to be paid what you're worth. You develop a multi-million dollar company. Even though you're a teacher, you can still get paid a lot more than what you're paying yourself. So he relates that to a lot of things that he does as far as rewarding himself, because he was so hard on himself, and he was going by this model of living a meager lifestyle. So that's kind of it resonates with me to a point. So I've been doing that more, like more of a aha moment, basically being more comfortable quoting a higher rate because I've been doing what I've been doing for over 2 decades. And people tell me, you know, you fixed my shoulder when orthopedic surgeons haven't been able to fix my shoulder or whatever. And I don't really take that into account. It's like I'm good enough. I'm more than good enough. So I should be charging a more respectable rate rather than you know, thinking of, well, I'm not an orthopedic doctor, so I can't charge that much. So I've been doing that the last 2 weeks, just with the 3 or 4 new clients I've gotten, and not raising the rate a lot, but just raising it some significant for me, and they've all accepted the rate increase. So I'm not going to start charging an arm and a leg for everything, but I have that mindset now where it's an aha moment for me, but also a change in mindset to feel like, yeah, whatever I'm doing, I'm good enough, as far as a project or as far as charging more or whatever. It's like I I value myself more. I guess that's my aha moment.
I'm just taking a few seconds to let that filter in through my through my brain, which makes a lot of sense. That your decision to do something is enough. Although, let me put something another way in terms of personal growth and motivation. There's a lot of I believe in you, but you don't really know me. I don't know if you've you've probably come across that perspective before, which is I've been looking through these personal growth and personal development issues, and I think that you can only really help someone to grow when you know them a little bit better. This idea that you've got greatness in you when, like, you don't even know me is kind of weird. And what if, so, and here's a really stupid example, but it kind of makes the point I want to make. What if when Hitler was young, if somebody went up to him and said, "You've got greatness in you. Just keep pushing. Just keep driving. Just keep going forward." And I am all for personal development, and a lot of the psychology and philosophy related to it has helped me grow. But I've recently taken a little bit of a step back because of this perspective of, well, that's nice, and we there are certain things that link us all, and certain problems we all have for sure, but you don't know me, and there's still a little bit of a question mark in my mind that when I hear things like your decision is enough, yes, but what about the quality of the morality of the decision? And then that feeds into when we're talking about growth. For me, and I think also for you too, growth is a personal journey. It's taking personal steps forward so we develop our own skills, so we can help people around about us, so we can feed energy into our family and our friends and everything around about us. I have become a little bit disillusioned with the push to relate growth to making money, which is something that it's not a bad thing to make money. It's not wrong to make money. I'm just talking about me. It's not about anybody else. It's just about me. That I'm still in that. I need to know that what I'm doing is the right thing to do, rather than the right way to make money. And when I'm satisfied that it's the right thing to do, I will take steps forward. So it's not about if I'm good enough. It's, is it right? Is it the right thing to do in terms of a lifestyle model? And I'm slowly getting to the same point I think that you just mentioned of putting up my rates, trusting in myself, looking at my history, trying to map out how far I've come and what I need to take as the next step. Um, Yet still in the back of my mind, keeping that question there of just keep the focus on, is it the right thing to do? Is it the right way to progress, to take the right steps forward? That's my little bit of feedback on that.
Yeah, I feel like well, this again, like I told you guys, I'm prophesying vision now because I'm studying him. And he said, and it, again, other people have said this, like if you are true to your vision or your calling, whatever you want to call it, uh, the money will follow. You know, it's like, but it's still a decision to charge what you want to charge. Like he said, he was in charge of a multi-million-dollar company, but his Awesome Fest that he holds, I think, twice a year, he'd basically give all the money away to charities and the speakers, I guess, and wouldn't really keep that much for himself. And I guess his business partners were saying, why? You know, he's like, well, and he didn't have a really good answer. So when he came across this Buddhist monk who would, did this analysis, he saw that that was part of maybe why he wasn't taking in more of the money than he was. You know, because he had partners who were like, you should be taking in more. He's like, no, let's give it to charity, give it out there. And so he, it wasn't like I don't need it. It wasn't the world needs it more. It was really I don't feel I deserve it because I'm a teacher. Like it wasn't really an altruistic reason. He just felt like I'm a teacher. Teachers don't make that much money, so I shouldn't be getting paid. You know, and that's when it finally hit him. It's like that's the reason why I don't pay myself more.
Do you think
So
that do you think a lot of good people perhaps suffer from having that kind of perspective and are held back?
I do think so. Having been raised Catholic, I said, and this is my thing. It's like I consider myself a healer, not really a teacher. I mean, I do teach a certain amount, but you know, my my icon growing up, in the religious aspect was Jesus, and he was a poor person. He all he did was heal, and he gave and he gave and he gave. So that's my initial icon that I grew up with. So partly, I'm always expecting people to give back when I give, and it's bit me on the ass way too many times. So that's something that I've known about like for quite a while. It's like, okay, well, I have this healing gift, and it's like if I can heal somebody's pain, I want to do that. Some people will never pay me what I'm worth or what it's worth to them, but I still have to at least quote, like it's going to cost $200 for this 2 weeks of massages and exercise, and if they say I really can't afford it, I'll be like, then I will trim down the package like to what they can afford. But it's like I have to set some boundaries. Like I can't just say, oh, okay, well, just give me 100 and I'll do the exact same program. You know, it's like I can say, okay, well, give me $100 and I'll do 50% of the most important part of the program or something. It's like I have to get paid what I'm worth. And there's a sliding scale there, but there's also a sliding scale of my ability that I'm going to give to them. And once they see that result, either they stay longer and I end up making that money, and it's a longer process, but I'm not selling myself short, because I used to do that. It's like, okay, well, if you can't do 200, let's do 100, and then, if then we'll just go from there. And even, sometimes they would stay, and actually, they'd be lifelong clients, or sometimes as soon as they got fixed, they would leave. And that was it.
Hmm.
So I remember I had one lady. I spent. She was a friend of a client, a very good friend of a very good client. Bad knee. So I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah, I want to start. I'm gonna come for at least a month, and then I have to go on tour because she was an entertainer. Can you see if you can do anything for my knee? So I spent an hour working on her knee, and she's like, okay, great. Okay, well, I'll come back. This is gonna be the charge, $200, whatever. She never came back. Like her knee felt better. She she never paid me for anything. She just never came back. So it's like I basically fixed her knee in one session, and I did it for free, and she completely took advantage of me that way, and she's never came back. So after that, I've changed the way that I do things. I'll tell people what I want to do. Like if I do this, this, and this with your knee, it'll get better, and then we go from there. But I am not going to I'm not even going to spend 10 minutes on somebody's knee if I know I'm not getting paid for it. So I've at least learned that lesson. So the whole good enough thing again resonates with me more. And just like I said, versus other organizations we've been in, Vision gives um, uh, resources and tools and techniques to take you through these steps, like actual steps of realizing what it is you have to do to improve. And that's the thing that I'm really learning from him, especially the last video link I sent you guys.
Okay, that's cool. And it's also a very nice answer to a very complex problem. So that was part of the realization, and I imagine that you intend to continue to get deeper into his work and try to feed what he has discovered into the work that you're doing as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Um, in terms of aha moments, I haven't realized directly anything that would be something that's made me stop and think. But there have been a series of experiences that I've had which have raised questions. And I think for me, aha moment is a little bit closer to an answer than a question. So um, they're not really aha moments. But maybe we can step through a few of them and see where we go. Now, the first one was a graphic that I posted on our chat last week. It was with the heading "Let this sink in," and it was a graphic related to profits of the organization supermarket chain Tesco. I don't know if you saw that.
From last week?
Um, I think I posted it either on Friday last week or Monday this week. I'm not exactly sure which day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it.
Okay, so there was a little graphic, and it was about the loss that the company made.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know that Tesco is a supermarket chain. It's one of the biggest in the world. It's kind of like I don't know, Walmart, Kmart, Asda is another big chain like that. And in Europe, we've got Lidl and Billa, and they are all these kinds of supermarket chains. So let me give you some basic information. Tesco has stores in 11 countries worldwide. 11 countries worldwide. It's got Europe, North America, Northern Europe, Southern Europe, and it's also got in Asia, China, in that area as well. So they're in 11 countries. They've got 1.4 million employees, which is quite large. I mean, that's a small country, basically, in terms of people. A huge amount of resources in terms of human resources, 1.4 million. And their profit 2014-2015 was minus 6.2 billion pounds. Minus 6.2 billion pounds. Now, if we ignore the fact that some companies try to make a loss and just look at it from in terms of investment, as an investor, I don't think you really want to invest in a company which is sliding down that kind of road. And I was wondering, how does it get to that point? How does it get to the point where you've got top managers, top marketing managers, top PR firms, top accountants, key account managers, all these different levels of organizing? You've got enough money to pay the best people to do the best jobs, and your result is terrible. What the hell has gone wrong in an organization like that?
Well, I think Johnny's more qualified to answer that than either of us. I, I mean, I know creative accounting. Like sometimes the paycheck everybody's getting is the paycheck, and the company's loss is the company's loss, and it's just a matter of semantics where they, as far as taxes and all that stuff is concerned. I mean, but I'm not the expert in that. But
Hmm.
just like with anything, it's. I mean, I think some companies, you know, have to go the way of the dinosaur because, like with the electronics stores, everything's Amazon's killing so many different types of chains now. Uh, they die off, but it's like with when my business was really struggling, um, and my wife was like, "Well, what the hell's going on?" And I'm like, "It's the economy. It's a lot of things. It's like I'm barely hanging on, but it's like I've been there before." She's a teacher. She gets a regular paycheck. She didn't really understand it, but I was surviving, and I basically had moved to the town she grew up in. So one day we were driving down the street, and there were a lot of businesses that had closed. And I'm like, how many of these businesses have been around since you were a child? She's like, well, a lot of them. And I'm like, okay, I'm surviving. Okay, I'm a small business. A lot of these are closing down. I said, but there's a lot of big businesses closing down that have, yeah, just like you were saying, they have the best of the best, Harvard MBAs or whatever, and they're closing down. I said, give me a little pat on the back for surviving all this. I don't have any, educational, financial background at all. And that's when I think she saw it. It's like, it could be a big company, it could be a small business. It's just a matter of, I think, expertise and hard work and staying in the spirit of what you're doing. Because with me, it's like I always believed I would survive somehow. And yeah, a lot of times I would end up having to take half of what I needed as far as the rate because I just needed a new client. It's like, okay, I'll do this. I'll give you 2 massages for free if you sign up for 2 months of training. Something like that. Uh, so it's a matter of, I think, dedication, education, people giving a shit about what they're doing. It's human nature. I think that's what the stock market is. Why it goes up and down. It's human nature. It's not. I don't think the economy is that inconsistent. It's when people start to see Nasdaq go up or down, they want to sell or buy. That's what I've been told a lot. Like it's human nature, and it's not really the reality of the financial stability of the world economy. It's just people freaking out or feeling like they can make $1 million in a day. Human
It's
nature.
it's also about the value that exists within what we do. Now, to counter the information about Tesco, let's take another example. The company Red Bull. The company Red Bull exists in 164 countries worldwide. So that's about 80% of the world. That's a huge coverage. And that includes places like China, which are really hard to get into for a lot of European uh, companies. And originally the company is based in Austria, next to Slovakia, where I am. So 164 countries worldwide. Total number of Red Bull employees is less than 11,000 worldwide. Less than 11,000. What's that, like 1% of what Tesco have? And and red and they're in 164 countries and they're making a profit as well. And to throw a contradiction into the picture, you can walk into Tesco and buy Red Bull, which is a mind blowing I don't know, contradiction of how things should be because Tesco's making a loss and Red Bull's making a profit, which is just bizarre. Add into that the way that Red Bull markets itself in terms of uh, positive self-image. It probably has the most positive self-image of any company worldwide. And not only that, it takes its profits and reinvests them in a lot of sports activities. They're in F1. They've got football teams. I think they've probably also got basketball teams, baseball teams. I'm not exactly sure, but they're in those professional sports, and they're sponsoring motocross, and then there's the surfing and the skateboarding and what else? Diving and snowboarding and all those other events that they're involved in. And then there's the documentary filmmaking, and then they've got their own TV channel, and they've got their own music studio, and they've got their own record label, and they're um, uh, pumping out what I would describe as kind of quality art, basically in documentary films and in music, and putting everything together and coming up with the great products that they're not even selling. They're just giving away for free to promote their product. It's quite incredible what they're able to do with only 11,000 employees worldwide. What they're able to produce is quite amazing. They're so well able to do it that established companies can't even compete with them. Coca-Cola can't compete. Where's the positive self-image of Microsoft, IBM, I don't know, Volkswagen, Amazon, eBay? All of these companies are making huge profits. Nobody even able to cope with the positive self-image created by that that company. Even, so much so that other companies like Toyota give them transportation for free because they know that whatever Red Bull produces is going to be fantastic, and people are going to see Toyota trucks and get that's going to rub off the positive image is going to rub off on the other brands as well. So I think it's quite an interesting parallel to compare those two companies, which is what I was doing with some students in business last week, and say, look what's possible. Look what we can do. Look what we can create from business and things that we do. And all of this just from a little can of drink. I mean, that's it. A little can of drink is then able to, at the end of the day, create art for free for the entire world if you're prepared to invest in that as basically as an advertisement for what you do. It's quite incredible, and there's no competition as far as I can see anywhere.
Well, I know, well, two things. One, it it's a central nervous system stimulant. So it's just like caffeine, coffee's the same thing. Uh,
I'm not
I don't
saying
know.
I'm not saying it's a
Yeah,
health product. I'm just saying
yeah.
that what they can produce from it is incredible.
I just think I think the closest competitor at one point was Monster drinks, and they were much more savvier. They basically did like Monster was Microsoft.
Hmm.
Monster was the big beige computers, and Red Bull took took their capacity, shrank down the size of the can, and made the can look friendlier. You know, just like with the iMac and that whole thing. Like they have colored computers. That's the only difference. A lot of people bought the Macs because they were different colors. They didn't even care about the operating system. So it was kind of that type of strategy where they were smaller. Like Monster is a monster. It's like, oh, those things are bad for you. They have a lot of sugar and caffeine or whatever. Well, Red Bull is just a little shot. Plus, it's a much friendlier can. And they were able, yeah, they were able to get in the right markets, early, so that they were just more, I think, consumer friendly. So I really see a parallel with those two versus Mac and Microsoft. And yeah, they've done a great job. Whether they're better or worse or whatever than monsters. I don't know, but their marketing is just way better. It's like if you're going to go that way, the minds of one company versus the mind of another.
Or I, it's amazing. I think from the perspective, I think Red Bull has blown everyone else out of the water. They have no competition worldwide with what they do.
Yeah,
It's stunning
yeah, yeah,
from a business perspective. I mean, they've set up their own television channel. They got their own radio. They've hooked into music. They've hooked into entertainment. They're making documentary films, and travel films, and like I watched one last week, and I just thought this is a beautiful work of art. And the whole concept that this can be created as a sort of tangent from selling stimulant drinks is kind of incredible. Um, and the way that everything feeds back in to everything
yeah.
else. I think they've done a great job in terms of the way they brand and promote what they've done. It really is quite incredible. Talking about brands and promotion, um, Amazon. We had a brief discussion about this before I hit the record button. Put my book on three three platforms to sell: Amazon, uh, Galaxy, and PayHip, I think is the other one. And of course, Amazon takes 65%, and the other companies take 10%. Very, very interesting difference there. So I know that some people have bought my book through Amazon, and on the official site it says that no copies have been sold. What's going on?
Well, like I was saying, I don't know how true this is because I'm a member of Amazon Prime.
Hmm.
So I think it's 80 American dollars a year for free books, free movies, free music, and while it's not free, it's shipping. They take a percentage of that $80, but basically it's nothing. Um, I bought a book from another personal growth person, and his was on Amazon Prime. So I'm like, oh well, I'm downloading it basically for free, and on his Facebook site, some of the people were saying, uh, I'm like, is he going to get paid? Because I would like him to get paid. Like he put a lot of effort into his book. And some of the people on the Facebook group said you have to read it. Like they can monitor if somebody's flipped through the pages, which is true because I've seen this. Like when I've been reading, the speed that I'm reading, it'll say um, end of the book in 3 hours 55 minutes. And if I'm slower, the time will change on the bottom of the book. Like so, it's being monitored how long it's taking me to read, or 16% of the book has you've read. So they do have some way of monitoring how long you're going spending on each page. So they said basically if you read the book, that's when he will get paid.
So if someone downloads the book to their device or tablet or whatever they've got, their Kindle Fire or whatever,
Yeah.
the author doesn't get paid if they don't open the book.
If it's on Amazon Prime, that's what I've been told. Now yours was just for sale, so I don't know if that's any different or not.
Hmm. Hmm. It is. It is puzzling. So the next step for me, as I've been aware that this might be a problem, I've been monitoring it. I've been waiting for the number of sales to register, and it hasn't. So I guess the next step in problem solving would be to get a receipt from someone who has actually bought something, and then to
Yeah.
try to contact Amazon and say, look, this says no sales and here's a receipt for a sale. Could you please explain to me why? But then I have a fear with these big companies. Not a fear. I have experience with other big companies before, where you try to contact them and you just it's like a dead end, basically, where you
Yeah.
don't really get any replies. Head over to this page where the most frequent questions answered will be answered by blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. So, um, which is strange because I'm not into conspiracy nonsense, but I was waiting for this to happen. I was
Well,
waiting for this to happen.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll send you my invoice, but call them or whatever because I've rarely had to speak to anybody on Amazon about customer service, but I mean, I've gotten really good customer service. Like the Kindles themselves, like I got two of them for my daughters, and one cracked. I actually it was me. I cracked the screen because I sat on it. It shouldn't have been on the couch, but we had just bought it. I think 3 months before that. So I called and I said, because I told them I was honest. Like the screen is cracked. I leaned on it and it cracked. They're like, okay, well, just send it back and we'll send you another one. No questions asked. So they were really good about it. Um, there's been a few other things where they've answered uh, the questions that I needed pretty quickly. So I'd say give it a try at least. I would think their customer service is pretty good just because the attrition rate is very low for them as far as the bulk of their sales. I think they could pour some good customer service. And even and this was interesting because when I was looking for a new phone, I looked at the Amazon phone that came out, and on Amazon itself, there were a ton of bad reviews for the Amazon phone. That it
Uh-huh.
just wasn't as good as Android or the iPhone, not even close. And Amazon posted them. They were legitimate criticisms of their phone. And if anybody had gone on to look at the reviews, nobody would buy an Amazon phone. And this was actually on the Amazon site. They allowed those reviews to go up. So I think their customer service, at least from my experience, is pretty legit. You know.
Okay, that's cool. Well, it's good to know. Also, the customer service does vary greatly from country to country, and America is famous for providing excellent and high quality customer service, whereas Central Europe is it's kind of a bit like falling down a big hole and feeling around in the dark asking for help when there's nobody there. That's what that's customer service over here,
Yeah.
basically. So, um, yeah, you need a sharp blade for customer service here. If you and a nice suit of armor
Yeah.
would probably be useful. Uh, anyway, so that's my Amazon experience. Let's take another little experience I had. I was thinking about promotion of my business. And I was thinking about promotion of my work and promotion of my book, something that we all have to go through. And I want to get into maybe a little bit of the video knowledge that you have as well. But just before that, um, I sort of came to a realization that I need help with PR. We can't do it all ourselves. I need somebody, some organization, some company to to help bridge the gap between what I'm doing and my ideas and my book and my work and getting this information to the public. And uh, when I published the book, I sent off a lot of emails to a lot of different people and got zero replies, which I expected. That's okay. Had to try it anyway, because you never know. And so I thought I need some help with PR. So I went on to Fiverr and I offered I don't know, I think it was €100 or $100 to anyone who could do promotion for me to help bridge the gap between myself and the public. And I got I got about 8 responses, and on an intelligence scale from 1 to 10, they were probably about -5. So, um, so nobody that I would use at all. And I was a bit puzzled by this. Here's something, a service that I used before, and I've used it successfully. And here I am offering money to someone who can help bridge a gap. It's supposed to be full of people who have excellent experience with PR and marketing, and zero hits in terms of success. What's going on there?
I had a friend in LA. He was a publicist, and he did promote books. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I think his rate started at $5,000. So I don't know who, yeah, you're going to get for 100 euros.
Well, what I'm looking for is a lead. The €100 is step one. And if somebody contacts me and says, "Look, I can't do it for 100, but give me 200 and I'll throw out a couple of interviews for you. I'll give you a couple of interviews, or I'll get you in this magazine, or I'll get a review somewhere, or whatever." It's okay. Okay, let's tentatively move in that kind of direction, but nothing. There was the only one that sparked my interest at all was somebody who self-published their own magazine and said, "If you want, I'll do a feature article in my magazine on you." And that just not right, not good, not true, just for all. Yeah, let me pay you so you write an article about me and make me look like something that I'm not. That was just kind of weird from my
Yeah,
perspective. So um, so although that might be good for a good road for other people to go down, it didn't didn't spark my interest at all. So there's definitely a need for me to bridge that gap. Exactly how, without going to a major PR company, which is going to be really expensive. How am I going to do that? And that just, I'm imagining in my head you going Facebook ads, Facebook ads. But is that going to work for me in my situation? I don't know at the moment. So that was the Fiverr thing. Let's take the next step. The next step is uh, I made a little video to promote the school. I put it up online earlier today. It was done quite quickly. You said you had a little chance to look at it. Could you give me a little bit of
yeah.
feedback on that?
Well, I like the background music because I think background music for that type of thing really makes a difference. Um, I liked the first half, and then it just seemed like you kind of petered out at the end, like you wasn't sure what to say, or you were like not sure what to say, and then the volume got really like you were trying to get, and then the music was starting to drown you out. But it started great. I think it's the type of thing you need to do more. So was that just a first take?
that was a
Yeah,
that was a one take thing where
yeah,
that's where every part of the video was an experiment of what might work when it's thrown together.
yeah.
And
So I think it was a good first try. Like the first time I tried to do video, I think it took 3 takes for me to say this is decent. Like I could put this up, and that was just the actual recording, not any music or anything. And then it was about that where it would take two or three or four, and now I've gotten to the point where because I mean you speak to people all the time, so there's certain neural patterns of speeches and things you have in your brain already that you can get across as far as explaining what you do, and that's. And I've done it myself, so I'm pretty good at just doing the one take myself, where I can pretty much get my point across without rambling too much. So I think we're good that way. Um, but yeah, I mean it takes a little more practice because with me I blink so much. I have to make sure my eyes are not bulging, but I will blink a lot. Like if you look at my live Facebook things, it's like I'm either looking too much or I'm blinking too much. Like I have to find a happy medium. So it's just the technical things after a while. But yeah, just posting things up, I think, will help a lot. But I think the production value was pretty good. I thought that was the appropriate music for the type of thing you were trying to promote.
Yeah, it's for me it just achieves the level of appropriate, and I'm really happy with that because for a first attempt at doing things and because matching the picture when you're a creative person, matching the picture you have in your head with what you can do with the technology is for me sometimes a little bit complicated. So I was freaking out that the little video program and most of it I did in my phone, which is crazy. Not even in a computer. I did it in my phone. I mean that's stunning power of technology that we
Yeah,
that, that we have today. And I was freaking out that I can do an introduction, but there's nothing for credits. There's no way of adding credits at the end, and I was just about to bang my head against the wall, and I suddenly thought, but I can add a picture. Ah, and the picture will
yeah,
function as credits. Ah,
yeah,
there we go. It's not that difficult after all. You've just got to get yourself in the mindset of the people who built the system, so that you can use it to your advantage, I suppose. So, which was a little bit about thinking less like me and more like a user of
yeah,
the of,
yeah.
of the program should think, and then suddenly what was a problem just completely vanished, and I was left with this "I'm stupid" kind of look on my face, like right.
What app did you use?
We video.
Yeah, pretty
We
good.
yeah, I did short and sweet and to the point, and what was interesting for me was that I recorded the video on my computer. It's basically the same setting as I have now, because it was the easiest way to get good audio because I can only use a mic into my computer. Then just put the video into my phone and did all the editing in my phone from that. I could make a video directly from my phone, but the audio wouldn't be so good. So it's just a little audio issue, which makes a difference, which was kind of pointless anyway because my energy just kind of disappeared at the end of the video, as as is noticeable. But never mind, it's something to work on. But yeah, they got a good wee video in terms of cool resources. Recommend it. They got a nice little introduction. The one thing that annoyed me is that when I upgraded for the extras on the mobile application, and then I went to the desktop website, there's no integration between the two. If
Yeah,
you've
that's
upgraded,
usually.
if you've upgraded on the mobile, you can't upgrade on the desktop because the system there is designed in a different way. But I'm really happy with the mobile
Yeah,
app.
that's fine. I used to do all my video on the desktop version, and that's before. The one that I use the most right now is Viva Video Pro.
What's it
It's
called?
on the
Sorry, Viva.
Viva, Viva, Viva Video Pro.
Is that a mobile application?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. All the videos you see of me doing workouts, that's all Viva videos. I can put, I can pull music from my phone. This is and it's all from the phone. And pull music from the phone. It has its own music library. It has transitions. It can speed up and slow down. It's got a very robust amount of things you can do. Then the
Hmm.
voiceover, the thing that I like, it has a very easy voiceover. So that's I always do the voiceover when I'm doing my videos.
So you add a voiceover to the video
Yeah,
because there's two options I've got: shoot a live video with live audio, um, or use images and then record over the top of the images. But I can't record over the top of the images because there's no way of attaching a mic to my mobile phone. So, um, well, that's the way it goes. I suppose one other There was one other application that I tried. Uh, it's called Film or Go. It's all one word. Film or Go. I don't know if you've come across that. No. I did a little search on the internet, and a couple of sites recommended this as the best mobile application for editing videos. And it seems to me that it's pretty much like WeVideo, but a bit more complex. And as a result, at the moment, too complex for me. I think if somebody knows exactly what they're doing and spends a bit of time with it, that they can get some good results from it. But at the moment, we video is about as much as my brain can handle, which is which is okay. So I'm gonna play with that and tweak around
Yeah.
with that and see if I can come up with something a bit more, just a little bit more professional than what I've done. Are there any other video applications that you would recommend that might synchronize together with anything created in WeVideo or can add anything to make something look a bit more professional?
I, I mean, I've tried a bunch of them. Uh, I usually, like I said, the Vivo Video Pro I think has the most options for me because titles. You can put titles overlay titles on the video.
Hmm.
Like I said, you can put music. They've got some silly stuff you could do with graphics. The transitions, the filters. You can I can I can put either one clip of sound over, or there's an second option where you can put two different clips of sound. And this is all on the phone. This is stuff that you couldn't do on laptops about 5 years ago.
Yeah,
It's
multi-tracking audio on a phone is pretty complex.
yeah. So I don't have any complaints. And even like it doesn't have a thing for credits. I don't think. I haven't even looked, but like I said, you've seen mine. I have that little video GIF that I put at the end of mine, and that was from a different app, but I just trimmed it and added to every one that it's like they call it a bumper clip at the end,
Hmm.
to end your video with. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I've tried. I think it's called Movie Maker.
Hmm.
Um, I think I still have it on my phone. It's actually pretty
A bumper
complicated.
a bumper clip. See, that never even occurred to me to go into some other program and make a bumper clip and then just add a bumper clip to the end of the video. I
Yeah,
mean, that
yeah,
would work as well. All that simple stuff that
yeah. I don't record my video in Viva Video Pro. I just record it on my phone, so it's in
Mhm.
the library. And then I'll open Viva Video Pro and I'll just pull whatever clips I need from my video library. So,
Okay, wow. Well, is there any software that's or any application that's good for making bumper clips or anything? I don't know. Is there?
well, it just depends on what you want to make. Like with me, I wanted something that had animated graphics, like I have, and it just so
Mhm.
happened that GIF maker did that. So I just and it's for websites like Tumblr that do a lot of animated stuff like that. But I didn't need it for that. I wanted it for my credit at the end, so that's what I used it for. So it's just a matter of what you're after, I guess.
Yeah, I'd like to have something at the end of the video which is like bang, and this is the end. Rather than a sort of sort of end to
Well,
it.
the one I use and the one with mine, like you can do different types of animated video on it. Just look up animated uh, animated text apps or animated text GIFs, app. The one that I used for that was Legend, Legend.
Oh, I to see myself falling down the rabbit hole again here
Yeah,
of
you have to look.
of we haven't seen him for weeks. He started downloading video applications and making these little things, and then he
Yeah,
posted something on the internet, and then his skin turned white. Um,
yeah,
so
yeah.
last seen walking off into the forest, aiming to make his own documentary film through his mobile phone. Right, something
It can
like that.
happen.
Yeah, just yeah, yeah. It's here's a realization which is kind of strange. We were talking last week about, and you were trying to coach me through the getting the positive mindset towards work, and I was feeling the hard side of the grind, and this making little videos to promote my school is really fun. I just I don't know. I just something that I actually really enjoy making a little video and posting it up, and it's like I really enjoy that, and I it's I don't know. It's much more than the grind. Much more than the grind making a little video, but you have to have the grind in order to have something to promote to make the video. Have fun making the video to promote the grind or whatever. I
Yeah,
don't know. So that's an odd thing that um, I get a lot of positive experience out of that. Anyway, um, so we've stumbled through my excuses for aha moments, um, which were sort of odd thoughts that I'd had about business-related issues. We've kind of segued into resources where we talked about the video applications and animation graphics. And I think it's, as you said, it's pretty amazing that the technology now is at the point where with a simple mobile phone, and the mobile phone I have is 2+ years old now, and it is adequate for creating these videos. So God only knows what the newest technology can achieve.
oh yeah. The new iPhones are by far the best as far as a lot of what they can do.
Yeah, or even if it's a phone that works with the Android system, like an LG or a Samsung,
Yeah,
or or some other company. I don't even know which company makes my mobile phone. It's got a strange insignia on it, and I've never been able to work out what that what that is. People say, "What kind of phone is that?" I don't know, but it works, so that's okay. Um, any other resources that you've come across recently?
well, I haven't started reading it, but again, Vision recommended this book here. See if I can get out of this mode. It's The Happiness Advantage. I'm very big into happiness and the mechanics, the biochemical, neurological uh, stimulus for happiness. It's The Happiness Advantage by Sean Achor. Shawnachor. And it's the 7 principles of positive psychology that fuel success and performance at work. But it's a lot about the positive research in positive psychology that they've done a lot of scientific experiments um, where if they know that somebody is happy in the moment, that they perform better. They did the test with doctors. Uh, they had these doctors do an assessment some were, and I think some were overworked at the end of their shift. Some were just neutral, and the ones that were the ones they were trying to experiment, they gave them a lollipop before they went in to diagnose the person. They weren't allowed to eat the lollipop. They're like, after you're done, you can have the lollipop. So it's like a gift, you know.
Hmm.
They're like, oh, thank you. It put them in a good mood. Anyway, the 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 doctors that got the lollipop gave the most accurate diagnosis of the patient the quickest. So it's like one of the things. Like that's why I want to read the book because it talks about different experiments in that type of area. So
Is that
happiness
how
advantage.
is that how business gifts work then? And by business gifts, what I'm basically saying is bribes, but I'm not talking about big bribes. Um, it's the little things like working with a lot of other businesses. I receive business gifts from them, um, from pens and cups to umbrellas and shirts and um, that's just what comes to mind. My office is full of things like like a used oddities store that I've been given by by people. I can see wait, just I've got they're all over the place. Things that people have given me. It's just sweets in a box that's a picture of the Eiffel Tower, and I just, like every week I get stuff from people as oh look our company's doing this. We brought you this. Oh, thank you. I like another 400 pence. Yay. That's
Oh
great.
yeah, I
So
mean, there's a whole. I mean, aside from the happiness thing, there's a whole other the psychology of marketing. Uh, but getting down to the neural stimulus of certain things, certain words and certain colors, and certain times when you do get gifts and what they are. I mean, there's a whole scientific psychological breakdown of marketing tactics. So that's something I haven't gotten into yet, but you know, it's talked about Coffee with Dan. They talk about that a lot in his Facebook group.
yeah, the gift is an odd and interesting thing. If you look at our parent organization, that's kind of a hook that's in there as well. The gifts that are that are there, whether it's as a book or a DVD or a shirt or I don't know what else, maybe access to something special or some ticket to something. I don't know, but it's something that I've never thought about until this last week when I just got these just like constantly getting gifts every day from people. I'm like, whoa, guys, what's this is this this is ridiculous. If student
Well,
e
this book, it's I mean that's an aspect of it obviously because that's what the experiment was, giving them a lollipop. But it's more about the being in a state of happiness creates a more efficient uh, way of working. They want people to be happy, whether it's bribes or whatever. It's just making sure there's a happier workplace. Uh, just makes people work. It's just it's being in the spirit, I guess you would say. If whenever you do have time, that last link I sent where he's talking about his systems, how he runs his company. I mean, he has so many different things he does for his employees, and plus the way he interviews and just just not just even just technical aspects. Um, Very interesting stuff. Like I could apply it to my clients, and I actually do some of these things. Because like I don't hire people; they get hired for 3 months, and then they get an evaluation. But they provide the evaluation, and then we look at the evaluation compared to all the other employees in the company, and if it resonates with the general consensus of the morale of the company, then we want them to continue. They do a lot of metrics or logistics or whatever you want to call them as far as happiness within the company, but it's broken down scientifically. So it's a good video to watch if you're thinking about hiring anybody or even working with your students just to keep them in the spirit of what it is that they're learning.
Yeah, one of my students was feeling a bit depressed last week, and so and I he told me this story this week. That he was feeling a bit down because a few things had happened. Decided to take a walk in the countryside, and sometimes we meet up. And one of my sessions with students is sometimes if they want, we go for a jog. We don't just stay in one place because that gets a bit static and boring. I'm like, just let's get up, let's get out, let's move, let's do something while we're working together. And so he was telling me that he took a walk, and we went for a jog through the forest, and he was telling me that he went for a walk through the forest and up onto this hill, and he sat down and he was trying to collect his thoughts together, and he said these two naked women ran past him. And he said he's been happy for an entire week now. He says, and he's, so it can be anything, I suppose. It can be anything.
Well, maybe
Uh,
you should take your phone out into the woods and see what kind of documentary you can make.
yeah, I'm not sure I want to go there.
Yeah.
I just leave leave that thing to that thing. It's like I and he's like, yeah, I was just sitting just up over there, and they ran through, and he's like, maybe we should come back and see. I'm like, no. Oh man, it's okay, it's okay, it's your thing. You come up here anytime you want, and you never know, right? You just never know. So yeah, and it's like happy for a week. This unexpected um, incident, experience, whatever, changed his whole mindset. Isn't that
Well, there you go. Yeah.
isn't that isn't that bizarre? So how does that fit into 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 the concept of happiness in terms of that? There's a lot more about the information about that concept. I think recently there are a lot more studies on trying to increase employee satisfaction, and more progressive organizations and companies are taking that on board. Although I would say progressive organizations and companies are probably about 0.000000001% of companies
Yeah.
in 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 terms of that. Sadly, uh, which is maybe something that we can change in the future. Um, so we sort of drifted there into mindset philosophy, and I looked into the happiness thing uh, a few years ago as well. I got a couple of books on it and thought maybe there's something I'm missing in terms of how I can get joy out of the work that I'm doing. Read through a couple of pages and went, that kind of seems very practical, and was never interested in going back to it.
Well,
Unfinished
I mean,
learning, perhaps?
I'll start reading this book eventually. I'll let you know. But it's an interesting concept for me because I'm dealing with a lot of people. I mean, with coaching, sometimes I'm sure you're doing the same thing. Dealing with a lot of people's pain, and I'm trying to channel that out. You know, so sometimes when people are in pain, they're depressed. When people, are overweight and they're frustrated, they're depressed. Uh, or if people work all day and they want to come in and vent, they're depressed. So it's constantly channeling that stress out of the gym, because I don't want it, but it's always a challenge. So even though I feel like I'm successful most of the time, it's still being upbeat. Say when I get home and my girls are excited about whatever happened in the day, and Daddy just wants to sit on the couch, or I have a day off to work on projects, and I want to feel motivated to do that. And I know you've had a problem with that lately too. Like, and I think happiness is a big factor in that. It's like you have to be happy during that day in order to move a project ahead. And it's like you don't attach the happiness to the project, but you have to have a certain mindset of joy to move yourself forward. You know, so it's like that's what I'm looking at. It's like what's that all about? Because I'm finding that I'm doing the Facebook advertising and I'm getting I've gotten a lot more likes on my page. I don't really have gotten that many leads, but I have to continue that. It's like I don't get that rush of a new client right away, but I still have to feel good about doing those things. Like not necessarily happy, but at least good about excited or like let's do another Facebook ad. Let's do another one. Let's do another one till we get it right. That type of attitude because that's what's defeated me in the past where it's like, oh, it didn't work. It didn't work again. I haven't gotten any leads. What's going on? And then I stop. And it's like, no, you still have to have a certain joy because that is part of the business. That's part of running the business. Have some type of joy every day, no matter what it is I'm doing, whether I'm training my favorite clients, my most difficult clients, or, you know, the girls are in a bad mood and I'm just trying to have a good family day with them. It's like just trying to keep a more positive uh, slant on everything so that I stay more productive because that's when everything gets bogged down for me. It's like, okay, well, I'm doing okay. I got enough clients. There's food in the house. There's a roof over our head. Let's just stay status quo. It's like, but that happens too much, and there should be a certain amount of contentment for that, but not if I want to move forward in certain things, which I do want to do.
Steps forward, small steps in the right direction make a big difference over a long period of time. Um, yeah, my life just seems to be. We'll segue in a second into any progress that's going on, but I just seem to pick up these contradictory ideas in my mind, throw them around my mind. One of my students, um, I asked them what they're doing through the summer, and I've got a summer job. I'm working in this big electrical store. I'm selling some equipment there. Oh, okay, cool. What are you selling? Um, I'm selling a something and a coffee machine. Oh, a coffee machine. It's like one of those, just you make your own cappuccinos or espresso or whatever at home machine. Oh, okay. So, tell me a bit more about it. Well, it's a bit expensive. Okay, how much does it cost? 1,600 euro. I said, what? 1,600 euro. You're selling a coffee machine for 1,600 euro. So yeah, I said, I sold my old car for 600 euro. And you're selling a coffee machine. I'm like, five of those coffee machines would buy a pretty good car here. Um, what is, have you sold? So, yeah, people come in and they ask about it. Yeah. And I've sold a couple. And she said, well, that's not the problem. I said, okay, well, what's the problem? She said, oh, they don't have any in stock. I mean, it's just, is it me or is the world just completely insane? I mean, the whole thing just seems to be insanity built on top of insanity. And I'm supposed to sit in my office and process process this in the middle of a conversation. I'm just like, what? Okay. So there's another world out there that I'm not part of, which is obviously quite strange.
There is
So
abundance. There is abundance.
somewhere, somewhere there's abundance of financial resources. Somewhere there's abundance of time. Somewhere there's an abundance of naked women running through the forest. Just somewhere there's an
Yeah, yeah.
abundance of everything. It's just it's just the stuff that bangs on the door of my mind. Anyway, let's move on. Um, progress, status, situation.
Well, for me, it was I didn't do an advertising campaign yet. I could still install one tonight to run Friday through Sunday, which I normally have been doing. Uh, I could probably set a budget for it tonight and just let it run tomorrow morning. Probably just a general one, like I did in the past. So I should go ahead and mark that down as something I should be doing because it's something that, like I said, I should be consistent with. Uh, I didn't do one last week just because I was just catching up on sleep from being gone in Hawaii and with girls getting ready for school and all that. And we're still in the midst of arranging all the schooling stuff. So I was content with the fact that I definitely got 5 new clients. I got 2 new massage clients and I got 3 new training clients last week. So I saw that as my progress. And that was built on uh, the new programs that I installed this summer, the boys, my high school athletes training, and uh, the over 40 women's basketball league that I got access to. So it was built on the fruits of what I've done in the past. So I felt I couldn't rest on my laurels with that for last week. So this week, yeah, it's again like researching mindset and the whole deal. So I'll continue to do that. But getting more specific, not at the moment, because right now, usually I work 4 days a week going to the gym, and it just worked out this summer. I'm going every day for half a day, and it's the morning, and then the next day is the evening, and then the evening after the evening there's a morning. So it's like, and then having been gone to Hawaii with that time difference, I'm a little logy with all that. So I got one more week of that schedule, and then I go back to my regular schedule, and I think I'll be able to be a bit sharper on on what I want to do more long term. I'm just kind of muddling through the end of the summer, I think you could say. But there's
Uh,
been a little progress with clients. I've gotten more clients, so I can't complain.
Is it a summer thing where sort of summer ends and then things kick back into gear again?
Yeah, August is like that because August could be super busy. It could be super light. And then this was the first big family vacation we went on, so that was a big project. And then school usually starts 2 weeks after, like it starts in September. Well, it started this week, so it's an unusual August. So, I mean, like I said, I'm feeling content with the fact that I did get more clients at the place. I think and the 2 new massage clients played tennis, and they're over 40. So that whole female over 40 tennis group that I have is going to hopefully continue to grow. I have over 40 basketball players and over 40 tennis players, and they're always getting banged up. So that's a good group to have. So um, I'll just continue to build on that. So the leads that turn into prospects that turn into clients are going to hopefully generate more leads. So for August, I'm saying it's been a pretty good August. Family wise and business wise, it's pretty stable. So I
Hmm.
think what I did the last few months has helped.
Um, does banged up have a double meaning?
So what? Banged up?
Yeah.
Well, the American version is injured. chronic injuries. I don't know in the UK what that might mean.
Uh, I do think that means pregnant in British
Oh,
English.
okay. We say knocked up. So,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. It's either way, it's a bit rough sounding, I suppose. Uh, okay. Cult- cultural differences. Cultural
Yeah.
differences
Yeah.
across the Great Divide. Um, there we go. Um, that sounds well. It sounds like you're enjoying a bit of a break, taking your foot off the gas a little bit, but getting ready to get back into gear.
Yeah. Well, I had to take on this schedule because that's the schedule. Like instead of 4 days a week, it's 6 days, and it's just when people could come in, and I wanted to make sure we had enough mad money for Hawaii, which yeah, we definitely needed the extra mad money because it was I was mad having to spend as much money as I did. But everybody had a good time. So it's in the books, it's done, it's an experience that they will always cherish, and
Hmm.
hopefully I will be able to generate even more nice vacation out in Slovakia someday. We'll see.
Ah, for sure, for sure. You can come out and bounce around on a wonderful new trampoline that I bought last
See,
week.
they would love that. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh, and that's another story. Anyway, we'll try not to, especially as I live on a hill.
Ah. Ah.
Can you imagine? I keep having to push it back. Right. Uh, yep. I'm gonna work on the videos. Originally, I planned let's just do one promotional video for the school, and when I broke things down and looked at how I wanted to do it, I decided to to try to make a series for two reasons. One, there's a lot of information, and I don't want to give out a lot of information. I just want to make it short and sweet, even shorter than the last one that you saw. I want to try and put everything into a minute, minute and a half, and put it out, and then use that as a way of promoting the work that I do, getting it out to as as many people as possible, and basing the videos on the work that we've done over the last 4 or 5 months together, the vision statement, the mission statement, the elevator statement, the principles, the core values, picking up all of those ideas and representing them. Is that representing them to to use as promotion, and hopefully putting out some interesting information and maybe using that to get me to the next point. It's interesting that I'm a person who likes to get things finished. I'm also a person who likes to take their time to get things right. Also a person who gets frustrated by all of these things. Um, the NSA Live videos, I have completely lost interest in doing that, although I very much like the idea. And by lost interest, I mean zero motivation to do it. Really feeling like I could do it and I could do something with it and I could make it work. No, no interested. Feel like it feels like it's a hole that I need. It's a hole that I would like to dig, but I'm not even gonna start to dig it because I don't see any point of how other things might grow out of that at the moment. And I even posted I went back. I posted on the Freedom U about if anyone has any ideas about ways to develop the integration of what we did through what we're doing through all actions, all results into forms of like a business podcast or something. And the constructive comment I got back was zero. So I got some replies, but nothing that anything could be built on, and nothing that wasn't anything new to me, or somebody telling me something that wasn't completely obvious. Been through that before as well. So I think that there are sometimes few benefits to being ahead of the curve, even if you don't know that you're ahead of the curve, or even if you don't know if you're ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
It's a very confusing place to be when you don't know you don't know if you should just keep building, keep sowing, keep planting, keep working, or as you pointed out, I think was it last week, that you can grind with the eventual hope that grinding will result in something, or you can switch your tactic,
Yeah.
which needs to also be done sometimes as well. And I think I'm partly at a crossroads between those two things, which is not helping.
No, I think, well, even with me, like I'll still do the Facebook Live stuff after my workouts, but I don't I see it. I'm not sure if Johnny was really on board with it. Like I see it working for certain businesses. Like with Johnny, look at the market, look what it's doing today. If you've got my money, man, I would love to see what you're doing this morning. You know, as far as looking at the market. Like if he were to do a 5 minutes of financial freedom every morning, I'm sure his clients would really appreciate it. As with us, it's like, you know, we we do, uh, I don't know how long your sessions are. I mean, I do an hour session of training. Well, that's kind of not very interesting live if you're not the one being trained.
Mhm.
So I think it just depends on what venue you're using it for. So I could report on the fitness business summit live. If I have a following of trainers, but I don't right now. I think it's just anything live. If you have something interesting to say currently at the moment that's going on in the world or somebody's world that you are exposing yourself to, the live feeds are good. But if it's just, even with mine, like I worked out again today, and this is my little note of motivation for everybody. That doesn't necessarily have to be Facebook Live, but it's a novelty, so I'll go ahead and do it that way.
Did you see the post that I posted a few weeks ago about Garth Brooks, country singer?
I
Uh,
saw the post, but I didn't really look at it.
You didn't look at it. Okay, so
Yeah.
Garth Brooks is doing Facebook Live on a Monday evening, taking his fans into the studio with him while he's recording his new album.
Yeah, see, if somebody has a strong following, or like with Coffee with Dan, he does question and answers at least once a week. And then there's another fitness model that does the same thing. She'll do question and answer with her fans. Just simple like, what do you do for your legs or whatever. The question and answer live streams are great. So I think it's just you cut through all the webinar to go or webinars, whatever. It's just a really quick webinar concept that you can get on Facebook and say, I'm going to do a Facebook Live. How many people are interested? This is what Coffee with Dan does. Uh, and if enough people say, I want to listen to whatever you're going to say, if there's, 10, 20, 30 people that said they're going to come on, then he'll do one, you know, spontaneously. So I just think it depends if people, are interested in hearing what you have to say. I think it's a really good promotion, but you already have to have a following. And if you do have a following and you have something to say, I think it's good to promote to your customers.
Mhm. Yes, promotion. Yeah. Let me uh, um, let me wrap out something which has been bugging me about promotion. If you've got a sec, it doesn't seem to me which way I look at how to promote the things that I do. Whenever I look at other people's models or look on the internet to other people for methods or systems or ways of doing things, it always seems to be this is how you're going to sell to people. And that is not that grates against my soul of what I wish to achieve. I'm not, although it's necessary to market yourself to have some level of success, the idea of almost putting it like there was Ivan Carmichael did an interview that I was watching earlier today, and it was about how to promote your new ebook and the different methods and systems of ways of getting people to buy. And that just it bugged me. I can't get over that. I can't get around it. It just bugged me that I don't want to manipulate people into buying my product or being part of my business. But then at the end of the day, perhaps everything is a manipulation anyway. And then if they're not going to come here, they're going to go somewhere else. So I don't know. It it it's a bridge that I can't. It's a river I can't seem to cross in terms of my psychological approach to my work. Like I'm making videos in an attempt to draw people closer to the work that I'm doing. And yet at the same time, when I'm looking at ways to promote what I'm doing, I look at what other people are doing. I I'm, if you put this kind of wording or this kind of paragraph into your page, then it'll be much more interesting for people, and they're much more likely to buy it. If you ask people who buy the book to send you pictures of themselves with the book, then more people statistically are likely to buy the book. And it's just what? If you have to, it, no, there's not. It's not all bad. Of course, it's not all manipulation, but it's filtering through what is the right way to do things and the wrong way to do things is bugging me in terms of that, and that's a problem I have with Freedom U, which I spoke about before. I don't have anything against it. I don't have anything against what people are doing there, and if people can make something successful out of it, that's great. But it seems to be channeling people into like you're shifting the flow of a river or something so that you can collect more water from it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
Well,
babbling.
somebody said this not specifically to me, but one of the fitness business things. It's like, do you love training people or do you love running your own fitness business? Because they're two separate things. If you just love training people, go work for somebody else because you're not qualified to run your own fitness business and you don't want to run your own fitness business. You want to just train people. If you want to run your own fitness business, it's because you want to build a financially successful business. Doesn't matter that it's a fitness business. I know you love the fitness aspect of it, but if you want to own a business, well, your business doesn't matter what your business is, then you want to run a financially successful business, and that applies to any business. So it's like if you and I get that. It's like, okay, well, I primarily love training people, but if I want to run my own fitness studio, I have to have that mindset of it needs to be financially successful. Like there has to be that aspect, and marketing is part of that. And as far as manipulation, well, you can look at it as manipulation, but it's building a community, it's building participation, it's building camaraderie, it's building customers that customer loyalty. I mean, you could put a spin on anything as far as the techniques. You know, they could be all term manipulation, like you were saying. But if you're going to run your own business, you should be wanting to make it as financially successful as possible. You know, and regardless of ethics, you know, if you have a certain amount of ethics, stay within your ethics, but you still need to make your business financially successful as possible if you want to run your own business. So I get that part of it. So I'm not there yet. That's one of the reasons. Like, yeah, like I said, we've gone back to the original plateau where it's like, well, what's I'm happy training people, but I have to get past the. I need to feel like I'm good enough. I need to raise the rates. I need to do marketing. It needs to be as financially successful and financially stable as possible. And that's just outside of the whole training people. It has to be the marketing. It has to be the accounting. It has to be finding the right resources to maintain the business. You know, and it doesn't matter what type of business you're in. You have to want to do those things if you want to run a business. And then the marketing, like I said, it's you can look at it as manipulation, but it's that's what marketing is.
Yep, can't disagree with that for sure. Um, Old word for marketing was propaganda, which I thought was an interesting word because it's pro-pagan. Um,
Yeah,
pro pro-pagan propaganda. Um, odd odd etymological origin of things. Right. Talking about words, I always thought it was interesting that related to fitness that soul has two meanings, as does heal. That the soul of the foot and the soul of the body and the heel of the foot and to heal a person. I thought that was interesting. Perhaps there's much more related to the feet than we realize. Hmm. It's
yeah,
just a word thing, just a word thing. There we go. Too much time with words. Anyway,
yeah.
um, right, we've covered that. We've been through mindset, philosophy. We've done general progress. Um, Anything special that we'd like to achieve in the next 7 days before we conclude?
Uh, well, just like I said, I should do a campaign just because mechanically it should just be getting done.
Hmm.
As far as promotions, I guess I should think of fall promotions. Um, get back into shape after the summer when you can
Don't
start putting all your clothes back on.
uh, don't fall
Yeah,
through fall
yeah.
or something something like that. Stay on top. Um,
Well, I mean, again, for some reason, I don't know if this is true in a lot of the other fitness studios or larger gyms because I just feel like my clients are not easily manipulated. Going back to that, they're more practical, uh, and it's basically if you didn't get in the shape you wanted during the summer, it's time to do it now in the fall. And that's not even, I don't even know if that's marketing. That's just, you didn't do it yet, do it now. And it's very practical, but that's what sells for me and my clients. Like, well, you didn't get in shape, the shape you wanted in the summer, get into shape in the fall before the holidays come, you know, so that you can enjoy the holidays guilt free, you know, and you start to add that on. So it'll be something like that. I've used that in the past.
it's a countdown, is what it is.
Yeah,
It's a countdown.
yeah.
Do you realize how many days it is, or how many weeks It is. It's only 12 weeks to Christmas, or 12 weeks to the Christmas period, or something like that. Do you realize how close? The clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Do it now. Get ready for it. Only so many days to next summer or something. I don't know.
Well, the last holiday of the summer is Labor Day at the beginning of September, and I think that's everybody's last hurrah, and that's always a really good weekend to advertise because people are going to eat, drink, whatever, to celebrate the end of summer. And then it's like, okay, we're all back to work, everybody's back to school, and then that's when you kind of slip in, okay, well, you just had some decadent weekend. It's time to get back in shape. And people are like, time to get serious with everything. Summer's over, get back in shape. And that's when people usually, it'll hit them, and they'll get that impulse of like, okay, let me get back into the gym. So, and
Yeah.
again, I'm, and I've been taught this as well. I have a very small studio. Okay. So I don't really want to get impulse buyers. I don't want to be shaped up for the new year. I don't want people signing up for a month as a New Year's resolution, getting in the way of all my very loyal clients and then disappearing. Okay? So it's like if you have a small studio, you want people that are looking long term. You want people that aren't impulse buying. It's the opposite of the big gyms. The big gyms want everybody to sign up January 1st and want them all to be gone by January 30th with a 12-month contract. You
Mhm.
know, that's it's I can like I think I've told you guys before. It comes out every year. The report on the statistics in your area. It's like find your zip code in your 3 month in your 3 mile circumference. There's this many people. There's this many people who would probably join. There's this many people who would probably last a month. There's this many people who will stay as 12-month members for X amount of years, never coming back if you charge X amount of dollars. Like they have done all the formulas. They don't care about getting people in shape. It's just the financial statistics in your area if you want to do promotions that way. So, I mean, and that's for the big gym. It's not for my type of gym. Every client is valuable. It's like you want that person to stay. You want that person to refer other people like them who will stay. You need them to be successful. You need to ingratiate yourself into the community around you that way. So like it's the totally opposite of the big box gym. So my promotions have to be a little more genuine, I think. You might say.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I can understand all the benefits of that as well, because it's a similar situation here where you can imagine what the start of the new term is for schools, right? And you can imagine first the high schools go back, then the university courses begin to start, and first there's new students, and then there's the other students from previous years that arrive, and it's it's a kind of melee or scrum amongst the other businesses to filter in as many um, new new clients as possible to so that they can cover the costs of their bigger businesses and premises and so on. Anyway, um, it's just the way that it works. It's just the way that
Yeah.
it works. So,
So I'll come up with some reminders to get back in the gym. I mean, there'll be promotions, but but not so much holiday based or even seasonally based, but just reminders. Because I said that's the type of client that I attract. That's the kind that stay. That's the kind that I need. So that'll be my project in the next week or so. Even though I'm still on this 6 day a week schedule.
yeah, back back to work, back at school, back in shape. Something along those lines, maybe. Right, Johnny was missed during the meeting today. If Johnny watches that, um, we missed your sane, sensible, straightforward
Yeah,
input on things,
yeah.
keeping us focused. So his homework will be to watch through this video and give us some feedback on that. As usual, I have not kept to the agenda at all. I don't think I keep to any agenda for anything at all except dental appointments. So I apologize for that. And this is the end of 60, just a little bit over 60 minutes of success. It was all actions and all results going all over. And we will conclude our official meeting at this point right here, right now. Thank you for the input.